India are embarking on a 3-test match series tomorrow. The series is important because from Sri Lankan point of view, one of the greatest batsmen, Kumar Sangakkara, is going to retire in the second test match. From India's point of view, there is a lot at stake also. India is a team in transition, and they haven't won a test match abroad in a very long time, and they haven't won a test series in Sri Lanka in nearly 20 years. So with me is Aditya, and we'll discuss what are the chances of this young Indian team in an island that hasn't been very good for them in the past. Aditya, what are your thoughts?
See, the first thing to realize is it's never been easy to tour Sri Lanka. I mean, despite their recent history against Pakistan, for test playing nations to go to Sri Lanka is extremely difficult. We know it ourselves because when India first went to Sri Lanka in '85, they won. It was a team that had just gotten into test cricket.
That's right.
In '93, we won again, and we haven't won since.
Right.
It took the experience of Lakshman, Tendulkar, Sehwag, and Dravid put together to help India draw a test series in 2010.
That's right.
And now, coming back to the point that you made, it's a team in transition. It's a team without a strong, stable batsman in either our top or our middle order. And the only guy who had been consistent in the last 2 years in Vijay is also out of the picture.
Right.
It's going to be extremely difficult.
Which brings us to this question that India are going with this peculiar strategy of 5 bowlers. They experimented in Bangladesh in the first test match, but Bangladesh test match was washed out. So we did not really get to see how effective this strategy was. So what are your thoughts? I mean, this will be a fresh start.
No, but exactly as we were discussing before this piece started, which is if you're going to go in with this killer instinct, you firstly need to have the team to do it. We were discussing about how Barcelona plays attacking football for a reason because that's the way they're built. Italy defends because that's the way they're built.
That's right.
But you were in Bangladesh, Daksh. So what do you think about this strategy? Because I think Virat Kohli spoke about it quite extensively before the Fatullah test.
My point is that against a team like Bangladesh, you can afford to use this strategy probably because you know that they are not a good test team. So you can go with 5 bowlers, you can try to wrap up the test match in 4 days. But against Sri Lanka, which is not as good as they used to be at one point in time, but again, they are forced to be reckoned with in their own conditions. So against this Sri Lanka, I'm not too sure. I think it will be a high risk strategy. At least going into the first test match.
But the way you said it's okay to do it against Bangladesh, the Sri Lankan side that has Rangana Herat in their bowling department and pretty much nobody else. Damika Prasad is pretty young.
That's
everybody else. Jamira is not even playing this test match. So, I mean, what makes you think that this is not the right time to try it? If you try it in some place, why not in Sri Lanka?
Yes, I'll tell you why. I'm saying that it's a very high-risk strategy to go into in the first test match. In first test match, you should have a more cautious approach, it may be argued, and see how good we are over there in those conditions, and then probably employ this strategy in the second test match. But imagine if this strategy backfires in the first test match itself, and then you are suddenly on defensive. Then suddenly your attitude of going into a series with an aggressive mindset goes for a toss. So that's what my sort of area of concern is.
But this aggressive mindset has pretty much been the talking point ever since Virat Kohli took over, or even when he substituted in for Dhoni since the Adelaide test last year. He's all been, I mean, every press conference of his, I mean, his chats, his interviews in cricket portals have all been about how he's an aggressive captain and he's always going to go for the kill. What are your thoughts on Kohli and this mindset?
It's a wonderful attitude to have if you can pull it off. But if you can't pull it off, if you don't have the resources to pull it off, then it becomes slightly difficult. And speaking of resources, basically, I want to say that India has a very thin batting lineup. Murali Vijay is not fit. He is not playing in the test match, and we are sacrificing on one good batsman in Cheteshwar Pujara, trying to play Rohit Sharma, who's a great batsman, but not great in this format in this test match. So there our resources will again be slightly dicey. So I don't know how this only on the basis of an aggressive mindset we can pull it off.
Talking about Cheteshwar Pujara, he, as we know, had been our number 3 batsman for a long time before he went into a slump in the New Zealand tour, which you covered once again. But Ravi Shastri has pretty much made it clear that if and only when there are conducive conditions for us to go in with like a 4-prong attack, bowling attack, will Pujara be back in. But till then, we have these 5 batsmen to depend on with Rohit Sharma at number 3, and we'll see what happens.
It's a question of taking 20 wickets. Whether you need 5 bowlers to do that, then take 5 bowlers. You need 6 bowlers to do that, take it. Because the way the brand of cricket I want India to play is you don't go out there to draw games. You go out there to win games. So let's get one thing clear. To win games, you need 20 wickets. Now, if it needs 6 bowlers, so be it. If it needs 5 bowlers, so be it. If it needs 4 bowlers, so be it. The endeavour is to take 20 wickets. And sometimes you can do it with 4. Sometimes you need 5 in different conditions. 6 will be far-fetched, but we'll need a couple of batsmen to be bowling.